Hey, good morning, guys. It's Donald and my trusty sidekick.
Mary.
And we're here to bring you your morning weather, water, and trail chatter report. And so Mary's going to start off this morning with the weather and water, and after we have a little bit of trail chatter. All right, Mary. Here you are, my friend.
Thank you, Donald.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Right now in Blairsville, it is 57 degrees with some fog. Today we're going to get a high of 83. It will be partly cloudy with areas of patchy fog developing. So make sure we leave enough time, extra time for some traveling because it can be quite hard to see out here in the mountains. Tonight it will be 61 with partly cloudy skies. The winds will be light and variable today and tonight. Up on Blood Mountain today, we're looking at a high of 75 degrees with patchy fog before 8 a.m. and then mostly sunny today. Tonight, 59 degrees, partly cloudy. Winds will be 5 miles per hour today and tonight. Water is good on the trail. Still make sure you top off at Hawk Mountain Shelter because you do have that 6.2 mile stretch between there and Justice Creek before water is readily available again. We just want to make sure we stay hydrated. There's been a lot of water because we've had a lot of rain. I'm going to turn this over to Donald now, and we're going to talk about some other stuff we have going on out here. Donald?
All right. Thank you so much for that, Mary. Great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me go ahead and take that. All right, guys. So we have a few different things going on this morning. We have several rescues. One's in Alabama off the Jericho Trail. So the hiker was rescued from the walls of Jericho Trail in Alabama after breaking her ankle. Another park rangers rescue missing hiker and his dog at Lake Mead. They were rescued after he and his dog went searching for a dog that had went missing on May 28th after a motor vehicle accident. They were rescued from a very remote area of the park. No mention of the dog they were looking for.
Nothing at all.
A man hiking in Avery County, North Carolina, was rescued and received proper treatment after being bitten by a snake, guys. So it's that time of year for snakes. Please be aware of what are venomous snakes down here and what are harmless snakes. Take a moment before you sit down on a log, rock, or anywhere, or where you're stepping, pay attention to the ground. They'll spread themselves out across the trail. When it's sunny, in sunny spots, make sure you're looking. Copperheads will blend right into
Definitely.
the leaf fall on the ground, and they are hard to spot. They have Hershey Kiss
Pattern.
pattern, thank you, on their body, and so it will be like a Hershey Kiss, Hershey Kiss, Hershey Kiss. Take a look at them, know what they are, and know the difference between a real copperhead and a look-alike. And also that goes for the timber rattlers. We have timber rattlers out here, and also cottonmouths. So, and cottonmouths can be different colors depending on where you are. Sometimes they have like a pattern on them that you can actually see that's visible. And then there's like these black ones that I've seen also. And so my buddy, actually, Carlos, was up here. Remember when we went down the swinging bridge with he and his wife? He insisted they were black only. And so he's from Louisiana and Texas. Now, up here, I've seen them with patterns. They almost look like a diamondback. And I've seen them in Florida, too, looking like that. But I've also seen them over in South Carolina. I used to live in South Carolina for years when I was younger, but they're black over there. And so I'm not sure what causes that. Yeah, I'm not sure either. But definitely, they're angry little critters, so don't mess with them. They are the ones. Now I've seen on YouTube, there's people on there that mess around with snakes, and catch them, and then they'll talk about them and stuff. And they say that the cottonmouth is not, or that they're not really aggressive.
Okay.
Then there's people that say they'll chase you down the road.
See, I've always heard that they're very aggressive. So I personally treat every single snake like it's venomous because I just don't want to get into trouble with not knowing what it is. So I just treat each one of them as it could harm me. And, you're talking about how well they camouflage. Remember the rattlesnake?
Yeah.
That was very well camouflaged
And I
with the
couldn't see
rock.
it.
Yeah, I mean, they camouflage very well with the rocks. So it's
Well,
just,
you talking about the one that when we were walking up from Gooch Gap and I was talking to 6040,
yes, that's the one
and
I'm
then you
talking
were.
about. It was very, very well camouflaged.
Now, if Mary were not walking in front of us, 6040 and I back a ways running our mouths, where I would have stepped right on it. But Mary spotted it and warned us, and then 6040 insisted on playing with the snake, and so he needed to hear it sing, and he got some pictures of it. I actually have video of it and pictures of that snake, even though he blew it up and made it look like a larger
It
snake.
made it look monstrous.
Yeah, it was actually just a little timber, man. And don't get me wrong, the babies are the actual, they are worse than the adults because they do not know, well, from what I understand, they do not know how to control the release of venom when they bite, and also they bite multiple times. And so an adult, a lot of the times, from what I understand, there's a high percentage of dry bites because they do not want to. They don't want to waste their venom, and usually they bite when they're cornered or stepped on or played with or maybe mistakenly grabbed as a stick. They're called nope ropes and many other names down here, man, but people can just pick them up in their yard by mistake, man. I'm super careful because I do not like snakes. So what I was saying in the beginning, actually, look out when you sit down on a down tree or a rock. Tap the area, make sure there's nothing hiding up in there. Also, snakes will hide in the bark, the cracks and crevices of trees, and so they're known to do that and hang from trees. And so, be very careful, guys. Okay. All right, and so shake your shoes out at shelters, man, before you stick your feet in them. There could be a brown recluse, a black widow, what are they called? Wolf spiders and snakes will curl up in your shoes, so shake them out. Scorpions are also down here. They're harmless, man, but they put ask Mary.
It hurts.
All right, and so let's see. And so today I was looking through actually last night looking for some type of news to talk about. And so I ran into this actually. And I don't know if anyone remembers the woman from Georgia, USA, this Georgia here, that was lost in the woods up in the Sierras several weeks back. I have read that she possibly conjured up some of her story. Okay. Yeah, and so I don't know how true it is. I read it online. There's a great article here or people talking on Reddit, but this also comes from a podcast. So Fresno, I'm just going to read this real quick. So Sheriff Zanoni, missing hiker story was conjured up. Fresno, California local filmmaker Jeff Aiello sat down for an exclusive interview with Fresno County Sheriff John Zanoni for an update of the mysterious case of Tiffany Slayton. The 28-year-old hiker from Georgia was missing for nearly a month in the High Sierra. Her story of survival was considered a miracle by some, but highly questionable by skeptics. Now, Aiello's Talk of the Hill podcast. Sheriff Zanoni is clearing up the story, which made national headlines. Slayton was eventually discovered at a Vermilion resort cabin near Lake Edison. Jeff Aiello joined John Broesk to discuss new developments Monday on KMG. And so this was posted one day ago. So there is a video and a podcast. There is a person named Follow the Flicker 01325 that posted. I wrote this below to someone who said, but it seems like they confirmed her story. But I'll duplicate here for those who don't plan to listen to the podcast. I recommend listening. They believe that she did take her bicycle up into the high Sierras. They have not found it yet. They say that she was going into the woods deeper to meet a PCT hiker. I think that was already said. She may have been lost without food or without shelter for a day or two. I think he says she said they blew away while she was on the adventure, but confirming that piece of story that she did take her bike in the wilderness for a few days is very different from confirming that she spent 3 weeks lost in snow while injured while without food and shelter. The sheriff also noted on the podcast that the cabin where she was found at Vermilion Ranch Resort was very nice and had food, and that staff have confirmed that someone had clearly been eating the food at the VRR in the cabin and in the store. He says something like, well, she says she was the only one there, so I guess I can't say for sure, but who do you think was eating the food? Not quite the wilderness survival story that she described in the press conference. So there's more to it. I'm not going to get into it really deep, man. They are talking about where she said she had like ballerina syndrome, where your ankles like lock up from being years on being a ballerina. I guess these joints in your or bones and stuff, they'll lock up where you're pinned in like this position where you're wearing like a high heel shoe, and that would make it hard to move around. And she says that that happened to her out there, but they're saying that when she tried to stand on her tippy toes, it's definitely, there's always skeptics out there. So people are trying to figure out how true her story is. And so I found that interesting to see that. People do stuff for the strangest reasons, some of it to be for attention. Yes. You know what I mean, man? And I'm not saying whether she did or not. No. I'm just saying there is a podcast and definitely people online discussing it. Mm-hmm. And so that's something I found there. And then I wanted to bring this up also because I find this to be right along what I've been talking about for weeks. And it is people calling each other seasoned hikers, and the news, they're always saying that people are prepared. And it's like, well, why are they dead? Why did they fall off the cliff? Why? And then you go and look, and I'm not that dude that doesn't go and investigate. I actually go and investigate this stuff and see what's going on and what they had, and then I make my decision whether they were seasoned or not. So here we are. I'm looking at Yahoo Creators. When I punch in hiker news in the morning or whenever I sit down or whatever just to find out what's going on in the hiker community, this is what popped up. The 5 items every hiker needs to pack for their next summer adventure. As a seasoned hiker, here are 5 things I never forget on my summer treks to keep me cool, calm, and collected. I love hiking, but I have one fatal outdoor weakness. I am extremely sensitive to weather. My teeth start chattering if it's too chilly. My joints hurt at the mere mention of rain, and if it's windy, well, I personally just do not like the wind all that much. Point being is that I hike a lot, but specifically during the summer. I hike pretty much every weekend in the summer because of the clear conditions, and I've even branched out to traveling for specific hikes. I usually keep to the basic national park trails, but I've also privileged canyoning through the stunning turquoise waterfalls of the Havasupai Nation, pitching a tent on the floating icebergs of Antarctica, and soon I will be heading out on a 2-week backpacking trip through the mountain cascades of northern Pakistan. So let me tell you, I have my summer hiking packing down to a T. if you want to be comfortable on your next summer outdoor adventure. Here are items that you should prioritize and invest in. Sunscreen. First and foremost, if you need good sunscreen, if you don't want to get burned on vacation, literally and figuratively, yeah, getting a sunburn is bad. So enough on its own, but it can also leave lingering negative damage for much longer than just your vacation. And outdoor vacations, especially, you are exposed to the sun 99% of the time, so be sure you pack your sunscreen, guys. You also want your wide-brimmed hat. On the same side of the sun exposure coin, my biggest must-have for summer hiking is a wide-brimmed hat. Not only is it helpful for protecting your face from the sun and wind, but it also protects your scalp. Many people forget that your scalp is also skin that needs protection, and prolonged sun exposure on your scalp can lead to dryness, dandruff, sunburn, and damage to your face, to your hair follicles that can lead to hair loss. So protect all parts of your hat or your head with a wide-brimmed hat. Bug spray. Summer really brings out the bugs, especially mosquitoes and ticks. If you're traveling, you may be visiting somewhere humid with even more bugs. Nothing can kill a mood faster than incessantly scratching your skin off after being swarmed by biting sandflies. Anti-chafe stick. You definitely don't want your lips chafed. So if you have your thighs out, chances are that they're going to rub together. So this is for chafing down bottom. Okay, so I get that. So in fact, if you have your thighs out, chances are they are going to rub together. In fact, a lot of your body is going to rub together when you are outside hiking in the heat. And contrary to popular belief, sweat is not enough lubricant. Affectionately known as chub rub, body chafing, is an incredibly uncomfortable part of hiking. Now, you definitely want your mini fan. You don't want to leave home without it, man. You want to make sure you have that packed in your backpack, guys. So a mini fan, depending on where you are hiking, you may be comfortably shaded by the lush green canopies of the forest, or you could be in the middle of the California desert, wondering when the bottom of your shoes will start to melt off. Yeah, sometimes hiking in the summer is brutally hot. Heck, even not hiking in the summer is hot. Regardless of what you are doing, you will need to be aware of heat exhaustion. Always carry a mini fan. In the summer, it comes in handy, especially at music festivals. When you're hiking around the music festival, it can get tiring. You definitely need your chafe stick, your monkey butt, and definitely will need a fan and probably some ecstasy, DMT, and some Molly or something. And some Zimas, or what do they drink now? White Claw. Thank you. All right.
I find it most interesting, the 5 top things, water is not mentioned.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Okay. And so we don't have water. We don't have anything that's really, I guess, anything really besides a fan, a wide brim hat, some monkey butt, and what else was there? Hold on here.
Bug spray.
Bug spray, I agree with that.
I agree with bug spray.
I do agree with that.
I also agree with the hat.
I do too. And the sunscreen. Mm-hmm. But what I don't agree with is seasoned hikers and the way that they put her or herself, she putting herself on some sort of level where she calls herself a seasoned hiker. I'm sorry, man. That's where I go back to influencers and the wrong message being the wrong message is being put across to people, man. And I think that this is where people get hurt. And so I think there's just too much of this. What makes her a seasoned hiker? I actually went in and looked at her stuff, and she is absolutely not a seasoned hiker. She is a blogger and an influencer, and I'm going to say that most of her hikes are probably paid for, guided type of hikes that um, she doesn't really need to worry about carrying emergency supplies and what an actual hiker carries into the forest on long trails and national trails. Well, national trails to me, when someone says national trails, I think of the PCT, I think of the Colorado Trail. I think of, well, CDT, the AT, the Florida Trail, the Lewis and Clark Trail. That's what I think of when I hear national trails. I don't think of a park
I don't either.
being a national or a trail that a hiker, you know what I mean? I just, I just have a problem with this stuff, man. I think it hurts the hiking community. I wish that they would say this a different way. You know, you're not a seasoned hiker, obviously, man, because your first concerns are things that I don't consider packing in my bag. Do you know what I mean, man?
Sure do.
So that just goes back to people calling themselves seasoned hikers, man. And so this is the awkward traveler. And she considers herself a silly squirrel, goose, whatever. That's what it says. And anyways, man, I wanted to talk a little bit about that because it actually goes right along with what I've been talking about for a long time, actually. People calling themselves seasoned hikers, and they're not. And people watching it and copying it and thinking that's what it's about. And then the next thing you know, you read them in the paper a month later on a rescue or, whatever it may be. Like I said, 400% increase on rescues in Washington. And I could go on and on because today, when I punched in hiker news, a bunch of stuff popped up of people being injured and rescues and people going up Mount Whitney to watch the sunset, and at the wrong time of year. It's all snowy up there, so the snow's melted when people go up, but when they come down after the sun drops, the snow hardens up and then it becomes ice, and then people cannot get back down. And so be careful. Be careful out there, guys. And be prepared when you go into the forest, whether it's a 2-mile hike, 5-mile hike, 10-day hike, 3-day hike. Be prepared, guys. Next, I wanted to mention one more thing. There is a murderer on the West Coast, and I believe they have him cornered at a lake in Washington State, I believe. Does that sound right?
I've heard that they believe they have cited someone, they've had information from other people too, saying there was a solo person out there that did not look prepared and was also seeming to avoid interaction with people, kind of, taken off in another direction, perhaps trying to avoid people. That's kind of what I skimmed over this morning when I saw it. And then, so I think they believe that this is the person, and they're advising people that are out there, cabins, keep them locked, keep their vehicles locked. Just, be prepared, contact law if you see anything sketchy. That's what I've seen.
Yes, and so it looks like Blewett Pass area is where they're finding this dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he's apprehended soon so that, he can face what's going on with him, and people can be safe out there and everywhere.
The dude looks ripped, man. Did you see him, dude? He looks ripped, dude. Like, rah! Yeah, man, that's scary, dude. After, this dude, if he gets cornered, man, I'd hate to see what he can do, man. So that's definitely going on out west. Just be aware, guys, if you're out west, okay? All right, I think we're going to end it here today, man. Do you have anything you'd like to say, man?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right, sweet. So if anyone needs anything, give us a jingle. We're here for you. All right, one love, guys. Peace.